Hi, everybody. It's Connie here. How are you? It's been a couple of weeks. I honestly, I did not come on sooner. I really have something I really wanted to share with you, but I did not come on sooner because I had a biopsy done on my scalp, and I had to treat it every day, and it just looked awful. So I spared you all of that. I hope that's okay. So I'm here and a little warm. It rained yesterday and today. How was the weather in your area? We've had so much rain. I'm grateful for the rain. I don't want to dry out, but we need a break. We need some pretty sunshine and flowers and trees blooming and birds singing. And we had that a couple of days ago when we had like an 80-degree day and it was beautiful. So I hope you guys are having some good weather. I know it's been kind of weird all over. I want to come to you today because I want to share something that was really special to me in my heart. And that is on Easter Sunday, I got baptized. And I'm going to be 81 in May. So I would love to, in a short period of time, kind of share with you my experience and some history and what was extra special about it. And so I'm going to try and get all that in a short window of time for you. So here goes. I've never been baptized because let me back up and say that I accepted Jesus in a Billy Graham crusade tent when I was 12 years old. So I've had Jesus in my heart for a long time. And I go to church and I read the Bible. And I was taught by my dad. And my dad always taught me that baptism was just a symbol for everybody else, but that the only way to get to heaven was with your own personal experience with Jesus Christ. And I know there's a lot of different religions on here. I'm just sharing my personal view. Please love it just for that. And so when my dad passed, I respected my dad. And so I took his teachings to heart, and I believed them. And he was right. However, my most recent history of going to church, I went to church for about 15 years with my very good friend and her husband and my husband. So the four of us went every single Sunday, went out to breakfast afterwards, had a great time. I had such a spiritual growth journey with the Lord in my time in that church. And I am forever grateful for that time, those people, and my personal experiences with Jesus during that time. And so then when both of our husbands died, we both, for whatever reasons, we took a break from going to church. And then when we both kind of felt like going back to church, she's the friend that had originally left me from all of my videos that you remember. And so she went out of her way to avoid me to go to a different church. And her reasoning was that she'd always gone to church with somebody and she wanted to go by herself and have her own experiences. I'm not going to get into that whole thing. Her and I have worked through a lot of that. And just as a side note, she actually told me last week she loved me. And that was the first time in 20 years that she's ever said that. And so I've always loved her. And I told her that. I've always loved her. And I'm grateful for her in every way. So back to my experience. So I wanted to go to church, and we were coming out of all this happened during COVID too. So a lot of churches were shut down during COVID, and so COVID played a big part in that whole 4-year journey, which was when our husbands died. And so I didn't, at that time, we hadn't repaired our valuable friendship. And so I didn't want to go to the same church she was going to, so I didn't know what to do. So I was listening to churches online. And my family surprised me. My youngest daughter and her husband and their 6 kids, and started going to church and didn't even tell me about it. I don't know why. And so I found out they were going. And so on Mother's Day, a couple of years ago, I decided to go to church with them. And so I did. And I went off and on, more on than off, for 2 years. And I love the church. I love what they're doing with the youth. They're doing an incredible job of inviting the youth into the church. And I know that's where it's at, is the youth. We're supposed to come in with wisdom, and we're supposed to encourage bringing in the youth. And so I just so support them in that. I'm certainly not helping in any way except in my prayers and beliefs that they're doing the right thing. And so they do baptisms 2, 3, 4 times a year. And my entire family had been baptized by this point. It started with my oldest granddaughter on Easter, and she felt spirit moved to go get baptized, and she did. And then one little by little, different events, different things, they all got baptized. And so they asked me one time, Grandma, have you ever been baptized? And so I was honest with them. And I said, no, I have not. And they said, well, do you want to? Would you ever consider it? And I said, yes, I would. In the meantime, I had listened to the pastor talking about getting baptized. And he pretty much was saying the same thing that my father had said, that being baptized in water doesn't get you to eternity with the Lord, but being baptized in the Holy Spirit does. Again, just my beliefs. And so I decided from listening to the pastor that this was the church. Because you see, I'd been tempted at another church a couple of times, 3 times, and something didn't move me forward. I don't know what it was. But now I do, because it was not the right time. It was not the right church. So I agreed with this pastor. I felt like this was the right church. My entire family had been baptized, and I wanted them to know that I had been baptized. And it felt right in my spirit to be baptized. And so I did discuss with probably half of the grandchildren that because that's the ones the conversation came up with, that if I did not get baptized and died, because I'm no spring chicken, if I died before I got baptized, I wanted them assured. I wanted to know myself, and I wanted them to be assured that I was still going to meet them with the Lord in eternity, even though I didn't get baptized. And I kind of explained that to them, and I said, do you guys understand that? And they all, even my 13 and 14-year-old, they were 12 and 13 when I had this discussion with them, and they said yes, they understood. And so I felt good that they understood that, and they knew that my purpose and my goal was to get baptized. So they were going to offer baptism. I'm spring forward here, and they were going to offer baptism on this past February. And if you remember, my grandson, who was 16 at the time, he just turned 17, had a terrible accident, and we didn't know if he was going to live or die, if he was going to be crippled or not. We knew nothing. And so I postponed it because I wanted the entire family there when I got baptized. And I had this longing and this desire, and something in my spirit just wanted Phoenix in the water with me. I wanted him there, and I wanted him assisting in my baptism. And that goes back a long way. I'm surprised I'm doing this without crying. Had some issues came up, and I was talking to him. He was about 4 or 5 years old, and I told him, I said, you know, God's got your heart, and he's got special plans for you. And I prayed with him, and I loved on him, and I still feel that way. And so I wanted him to experience, because he had been baptized, I wanted him to experience the difference with someone else being baptized. And I was extremely close to him, and I wanted him to be the one to be in the water with me. And so I asked him, when he got better, I knew they were going to have a baptism on Easter. And so I asked him, and I said, would you ask the church, whoever you connect with there, if they would let you baptize me? And I really said that wrong, because he's only 16. I knew they wouldn't let him, I figured they wouldn't let him baptize me. And he came back and said, you know, it's been 3 or 4 days. Nobody's ever answered me. He said, I guess they're not going to do it. I said, would you do me a favor and go back and ask again? This was asking a lot of him, but he did it. He did it without even a question. I said, would you ask them if you can assist in the baptism? So he said, okay. So a few days before Easter, he called me aside and he said, I just got word from the church, and they said, I can assist if you still want me. And I said, I absolutely want you. And so then the third daughter of Sherry and Bobby, my third granddaughter, Savannah, was doing some traveling and out of town, and I didn't know if she was going to make it back. And so I told Phoenix, I said, you know, I think I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do it this Easter, but I promise to do it the very next one. And he's like, okay, you know, whatever works. So he said, okay. Well, Savannah just pulled all the strings possible, slept in the airport the night before Easter in order to catch her flight and be home in time. She got home at 8:30, showered, changed clothes, and got to church by 9:15 for a 9:30 service. And so the whole family was there. And so then I'm still trying to talk myself out of it. It's like, well, it's not the right time. I have 2 friends that really wanted to be with me when I got baptized. I wanted my other daughter there, Debbie. And so I kept trying to talk myself out of it. But the Holy Spirit was much stronger than I was. And I promise you, I wish I could share with you the feeling that the Holy Spirit gave me, that this was the day, this was the time, and just do it. And so we were getting toward the end of service, and the pastor was talking about the invitation, because they have people that have already said they wanted to be baptized, and then they always open it up for any last minute person that's touched by the environment or whatever and wants to be baptized. And so I don't know, I was just kind of wrestling. And all of a sudden, Savannah was sitting next to me. Perfect. And Phoenix was sitting right behind Savannah. And he was back there chatting away. And so I reached my arm around Savannah's chair, and I looked at Phoenix until I caught his attention. And I gave a thumbs up. And he said, now? And I went, he said, okay. So I don't know. Then I think I was, the Holy Spirit just took over. I sat there for a few more minutes until the pastor finished his invitation. And then it was like, I had already told Phoenix yes. And so I didn't reach out to him again because I was not in the mind to do that. I don't even remember getting out of my chair. I know I sprung it. I had taken all my stuff off, personally, my glasses and that kind of thing, jewelry, and put them in my purse ahead of time because I thought I was going to do it. And so I was semi-prepared with that. And then I just sprung out of my chair. I do not remember it. I do remember right after that, I got out. I don't remember walking out the aisle. I remember passing Savannah, and I don't remember passing anybody else. And I got in the aisle, and there was my grandson, Phoenix. Now I'm going to cry. And he was in front of me, and he's like 5'6", 5'7", 5'10". I don't know. He's tall. I don't know. He's probably 5'9", 5'10". And I couldn't see anything. Everybody was standing up at this point. And he just started walking, and he led me all the way around to get in line. And of course, I was last in line and almost last. And so they came by and said, what size shirt? They give you a shirt to wear. And I said medium. And then they came back by and said, do you want to be baptized in your clothes other than the shirt, or do you want a pair of shorts? And I was like, I don't know. So they brought me a pair of shorts. At that moment, my oldest granddaughter, Riley, showed up. And she said, come on, Grandma, I'll go to the bathroom with you and take your clothes. I hadn't thought all that out. She was there. She just jumped out of her seat right behind us and came. It was such a perfect day. And so we went to the bathroom, and I'm taking necklaces and scarves off when we're going to the bathroom, and I hurried up and changed clothes. And I went in there, I got back in line, and Phoenix says, do you want me to help you get out, or where do you want me? And at that point, I was so confused, and there was a lot of noise, and I said, I don't know, I guess help me get out. Well, you know that's not what I wanted. I wanted him in the water. But all of a sudden, he was questioning, and I didn't know what to do. Well, evidently, earlier, my daughter knew that I was going to do this. He must have said something to her. So she was in the lobby, and one of the pastors that was doing the baptisms in one of the tubs is where I was. And he was in the lobby and overheard my daughter say, I think my mom's getting baptized today, and she wants Phoenix in the water with her. And so this pastor who was baptizing me helped me get in the water. And Phoenix is standing there. He's not prepared. He's got all of his clothes on. He's got his good shoes, good pants, the only good shirt I think he owns. And he is helping me get in. And the pastor looks at him and he says, come on, get in. Come on, get in the water. And Phoenix says, I'm getting in the water? Pastor says yes. And so he got in the water, and the pastor baptized me. And of course, then I got out, and the whole family and all of their friends and everybody was loving on me, and it was an absolutely wonderful day. That's the first breath I've taken. I didn't realize that. So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I hope you get a little bit of the emotion and what I went through in this baptism and why it was especially special and important for me to do it at that time in that church with my family and with my grandson in the water with me. It was monumental. It was incredible. And it will live with me forever. It changed me. It did change me. Baptism does change you. It may be just an outward expression, but it still changes you. So if you haven't been baptized, you might want to consider it. I had one more thing I was going to share, and I've lost it, darn it. Shoot. Anyway, that's 9/10 of what happened. When I left church today, the pastor that baptized me was at the end hugging people, and he saw me and he big eyes and big grin, and he said hi, and he gave me a big hug, and he also gave the sermon today, so I thanked him for that. I said it was really awesome. But I don't remember what else I was going to tell you, so I guess that's it. Thank you for hanging in there and letting me share once in a lifetime experience for me. And I hope you went on the journey with me, and that maybe it blessed you a little too. So thank you so much for listening. And about my head, I'm going to get a call next week if it's positive, and I won't get a call if it's negative. So if it's negative, I'll come back soon. But if it's positive, they're going to do surgery, and I don't know what it's going to look like. So I guess if you'll forgive my appearance, I'll come back soon anyway. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that, all right? I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart, whether this is your first time watching me or you've been with me for the last 5 years since the loss of my husband. And I hope you'll like the video and subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to join our widows group on Facebook, just find me on Facebook and friend request me, and then message me if you can, private message, and tell me that you friend requested me and you wanted to join the widows group, so I know who you are and why you friend requested me. That would be great. If not, just friend request me. And I love you all so much. Please know that from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have an awesome, blessed week. Till next time, bye for now.